Okay, we good to go?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Wendy Nelson, and this is Rob Nelson. We're the partners in crime here in the Crystal Lake area for Drone Training Pros. Came to Jim and told him our newest endeavor this year, we own a few businesses here in Crystal Lake, was to unroll not only the training aerial imagery into the real estate industry, along with a couple other industries here in our community, but to offer up training as well. So who we are and why we have earned the opportunity to be here is Rob is our chief flight engineer. He's the drone expert and trains all of our pilots and our personnel that actually go out into the field and work with clients on aerial imagery shoots. He is also the person that oversees the development of the training for clients that send their pilots through our training program. And he's also the person that develops the programs for business transition. So companies that use it as a service from an aerial, let's say aerial imagery standpoint, that transition into bringing it in-house because the scales have somewhat tipped. He's the person that goes ahead and has overseen what those programs are going to look like. He is a private pilot in general aviation, has been for over 30 years, which kind of led us all into this direction with the aviation. He's a big proponent and supporter of Lake in the Hills Airport and a huge supporter of EAA, which is the Experimental Aviation Association. Through that program, he spends a lot of his time mentoring young kids and working with them to explore the opportunities in aviation, whether it's flight or things such as avionics as a career. So recently he has struck up a relationship and started to do some pretty commendable work with District 155, is it? And they've embraced an accredited program to give kids in the community the opportunity to move into not only general aviation and commercial aviation, but now they're actually incorporating drone technology into some of their pre-college courses and accredited courses, heading them up to go into colleges that have also started to institute this into their curriculum. Rob is an accomplished photographer and videographer, as well as the software guru for all the stuff that drives this technology and ends up providing an end product for our clients. This is where my nose starts itching. When I speak, my nose starts to itch, and I end up being like Hillary Clinton, and people think I'm giving signals. I'm not. I've just got an itchy nose. So he's my go-to person from a technical standpoint when it comes to things as simple as this, onto the technology and talking to people in a more intelligent way about the technology and the software that drives our equipment. We have a fleet of several pieces of equipment like this, and today we'll go into questions and answers, and you can come and take a look at it, and he'll be the guy that I turn the shtick over to. My background is in sales and marketing. I'm a certified coach and a certified sales trainer, so prior to jumping on this opportunity with Rob, I was out in the corporate world training people on how to sell, how to develop their business from a sales standpoint, and we'll be taking that element of what I bring to the table into our clients' businesses as they start to integrate this type of work down the road into their business model. So my credibility for being here is I can get up and talk and convince people and show people the way with new technologies. What is a drone? We have had a lot of activity with the FAA as far as legitimizing this and defining commercial use for drones. So in our world here today, we're going to be talking drone. They're actually called unmanned aerial systems, and there's so many ways in which this technology is applied. But today with us in this room, it's for aerial imagery for the sake of marketing your real estate properties as you try and get them sold or leased. Why are drones becoming so popular? Because they can do the things that would normally be cost prohibitive and require things like fixed wing aircraft, helicopters to get images in your world, and brings it to a very affordable place so you can use this technology to go ahead and improve the presentation of your listings. and it's less expensive. So anything that, let's say, has a high risk involved, airplanes and helicopters and gasoline to drive them are higher cost. But even in areas outside of real estate, you know, pipe inspection and tower inspection, all of those things are extremely expensive to get done, and they're very dangerous. So now, with the use of a drone, they can deploy very sophisticated cameras and information and data collection software up into the sky and do things in a fraction of the time that it would take people to get that typical job done. For instance, agriculture. Rob met with a potato farmer in Idaho. It would take him a month to, you know, inspect in his truck his potato farm, and by the time you would complete that after a month of driving all your acres, you'd come back around at the end of the month and have to start all over to check for pesticides or crops that were failing. With a drone, they could get it done in a fraction of the time, in a lot less expensive fashion. So there's so many different ways that this technology is used, but for today we're going to call it drones. It's easier, for the sake of why we use it, it's because it's easier and cheaper. There's different types of aircraft. A drone isn't just a drone. Again, Rob will go through a little tutorial. There's so many different types. There's the military types. He'll explain all that. But the type that we typically use for aerial imagery and for the sake of real estate is what's called the DJI Inspire, and it's the larger one here.
Well, this isn't the DJI Inspire, but it is a prosumer product, right? So it does have a 4K camera on it. This is roughly about $1,700 bucks. The Inspire.
I thought you brought the Inspire.
No, the Inspire.
Leaves the Rolls Royce at home.
Yeah, well.
See how much I know about technology?
I was gonna say.
This is actually it's still a higher end drone versus, you know, this is a mini. Okay, so we give these away to all of the people that we teach flight to, and we give them this with an exercise and let them go play with that to terrorize the wife, the husband, the dog, the kids, right? But you can fly this in-house. It's also one of the most difficult things to fly. So it has no technology to it. There's no GPS assist, and they can go ahead and do our exercises with this. They can pretty much fly anything I give them.
So 3 years ago, when I was sound asleep one winter night, I was awakened by the sound at around 2:30 in the morning with a barking dog, and that's what I lived for a good 6 months before weather broke and he took the drones outside, and it was, and that's the type of pre-flight training that people are given for hours and hours of monotonous practice to go ahead and get the nimble execution with the different, you know, to me it's a video game joystick until I actually watch them do it. It's a lot more complicated than that. The interesting thing, and the reason why we decided that now was the time, which actually Jim had said he was surprised there wasn't more of a turnout. We're not surprised that when after I met with you and you said, oh, I think I could get 50 people in the room easy, I thought, God bless him if he can. But the reality of it is we're on the beginning of the wave here. So we have seen this grow in 2 years by 500% as far as the industry and revenue that it's generating and all its different elements, hardware, software. But as far as people embracing the technology, which we call disruptive, it's a disruptive technology, it's new, people aren't quite sure what it can or can't do, does it work with what it is they're trying to accomplish or not, so they're hesitant. We figured somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 people would be here. So we're actually 2 times where we thought we would be, but we also know, being disruptive technology freaks, because we've done this before, using other technology and introducing it into a marketplace, that if we're first and foremost and build it right on the beginning of the wave and get to know our customers and how they want to use it, as they start to go ahead and step out into that world, they're going to come to us to go ahead and work with. So we know that it's new. There's so much information and not enough all at the same time. So one of the objectives for today is we want to answer all your legal questions, that we have access to those answers. We're going to have a couple probably that we don't, but guess what? The FAA gets asked those questions all the time. So good news is we're a plethora of information. Bad news is we might not have 5% of the answers, but then again, they haven't been asked yet and might not have been ruled on as far as the regulation goes. they're estimating that in the next 2 years, this industry will grow to $127 billion. So we're in it, everybody's in at the right time. So what I'm gonna do now is show you a quick video of what it is we've been doing on and about Crystal Lake area to create our portfolio that has, hang on, got the world buzzing. So this is a typical commercial shoot. And I'm gonna just jump right into these. This is a 52,000 square foot listing in Elgin. And when the property was walked on foot, there's a lot of trees and it really doesn't do itself justice as far as, you know, the impact of the actual structure and the grounds that it sits on. So the aerial imagery that we were able to capture was able to give it a more robust feel for the road. We've been doing a lot of research on images, and I'm sure everybody, not everybody, a few people in the room remember what it was like before you had digital images and the work that was involved to get them up in your listings, and what that did to marketing real estate. This is going to have that same type of impact. So right now it's kind of an anomaly and a wow factor. Not a lot of people are doing it. But as it becomes more and more accessible and people are comfortable using it, it's going to be something that everybody's doing. So this gave that 52,000 square foot property the recognition that it deserved. It had an apartment complex, housing unit in the